1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, get ready to spend the next 2 hours with our three sports-loving ladies. Mia O'Brien, Lauren Brooks, and Taylor Dahl.
Hey, hey.
This is Helmets and Heels
On 1010XL, switched on by First Coast Lighting and Fans. Upscale lighting, fans, and home decor.
Show me what you got, pretty lady.
Day 3 in the books, and ladies, I think we can say the sky is not falling. Trevor Lawrence is going to be okay.
He's going to be okay, but since the quick hits haven't dropped yet, I'll kind of
Scoop
spoil.
yourself?
I'll scoop myself. I'll spoil him. I appreciate it. I need you to save this, RJ. I need it printed on the record. I need it printed on the shirts. I appreciated Press Taylor because his comments to start this morning's press conference and explaining exactly how many plays were drawn up for that portion of practice yesterday that appeared clunky
The red
for
zone
both
portion.
the offense and the defense, explaining how they tried to simulate more difficult situations for Trevor, essentially so they could provoke him to say, oh, I needed to do X, Y, and Z. That is teaching. That is what Doug Peterson has said he wants his staff to do. And so, therefore, when you see Trevor struggling, if you are to go to practice, any of our Heeligans out there, understand that it may not necessarily just be, oh, well, he's having a bad day. Today, in particular, he had a great throw to Brian Thomas Jr., went through his hands. There was another play in which Foye Oluokun made a great play on the ball, batted the ball up in the air. Shout out to Travis Etienne for tracking it and being able to haul it in during 11-on-11 drills. And so I think that it gave a lot of perspective. Yes, I appreciate Press Taylor for giving us perspective on exactly why yesterday looked clunky. Now, part of it, as you alluded to, Lauren, red zone.
Mm-hmm.
What has plagued this team, Taylor Dahl, for the past 2 years?
Yes, the red zone.
So, and by the way, on the offense and the defensive side of the ball, that is where today there wasn't any red zone periods. And so I will be curious when the pads come on Tuesday, the next time that they do simulate a compressed short field because of the nature of where they are lining the ball up, how the offense will respond then.
Yeah, I heard XL Primetime talking about that yesterday, and Leon was the one kind of hammering the nail on the head of they've got to. That was your biggest issue, and he was going back to, when I played for the Steelers or when I was here in Jacksonville, whatever our biggest weaknesses were or weakness was that previous season, that was one of the first things that we worked on when we got to camp because that's what they wanted to obviously hammer into us the most. And so he was like, I am ready for them to start that because that red zone has the Jags were in the bottom part of the league when it came to red zone percentage. And like Mia said, in both aspects, on the defense and the offense. So it's something that you hope that they get to soon and you want to see because that was something that plagued the team throughout the season, not just the second half and the beginning of the season too.
Yeah, so when we read tweets, and I forget who tweeted it out about Anthony Richardson yesterday, but he was 4 out of 5 and, no interceptions, 3 touchdowns and things like that. And you read that. And so some fans are like, well, Anthony Richardson's better than Trevor Lawrence. Mm-hmm. And it's like, hold on.
Yeah.
We weren't watching obviously Colts practice, but they might not have been throwing different looks at him. I, for one, appreciate that Ryan Nielsen's defense is more complex than what Trevor has faced. So therefore, not only was Trevor obviously not practicing when he was injured, but the types of practices that he had the last 2 seasons, I don't think they were as challenging as these have already been.
That's what I was saying yesterday. Like they're testing him in camp, and that's very important because I feel like a lot of the issues that led to the the in-season woes last year was because they weren't seeing certain type of defenses. They were seeing a very basic defense last year, and it was easy. And so once they got to the season, they were facing some of these ones that blitzed a little bit more or did certain things and had different coverages and had a more Ryan Nielsen type effect when it came to multiple defensive backs on the field at one time and all of these different coverages you're having to read. They were lost, and you could tell offensively, and maybe that's some of what Calvin's issues were too. He wasn't seeing any of that when he was here, and he looked lost.
I do not miss, Lauren, 2021 when we had to track both Gardner Minshew and Trevor Lawrence, and we were out here comparing who was 5 of 7 and who was 6 of 7. And I do not miss that at all.
Gardner was the line leader in stretching in front of Trevor.
If you do subscribe to that school of thought, if you're out here tracking Joe Flacco and Anthony Richardson somewhere in Indianapolis, I don't track Trevor anymore. I stopped tracking Trevor after the Episcopal year, so that 2022 season. I mean, this is his team. If you really want to be tracking Trevor versus Mac Jones, please feel free to get a ticket. They're free, and head on out to the Miller Electric Center and do it yourself. What I can tell you is that in the final team period, I did take a couple notes just on my notepad of kind of just, different nuances in terms of who was the target, if it was a completion or not. Trevor didn't have a drop ball. He didn't have an incompletion in that final period, which I think emotionally for him, great call by Press Taylor and Doug Peterson to give him just some easy completions. Not even easy, because the one he rifled to Evan Ingram on that crossing route, that was a big man throw. The one downfield as well. And so, but at the same time, I also have it noted, to your point, Taylor, that he completed passes to Christian Kirk, which would be for a touchdown, and Travis Etienne. But also in a live game, those are probably sacks. Yeah. And that also speaks to, we have to give the defense credit, because for a second straight day, we are seeing this personnel on full display, and more today, Lauren, than yesterday and Wednesday, because the defensive line, the linebackers worked out right in front of us and the fans at the Miller Electric Center.
What did the line look like? Who was the 5 on the line during that? Do you remember?
Defensive or offensive?
Offensive.
Offensive. It's been the same starting 5.
Pretty much the core of it.
It's the same,
yeah, it's been the same.
I will be really surprised if something changes between what we're seeing now, the 5 that we've expected for quite some time, and when the season starts.
Okay.
I will be surprised. That doesn't mean that something may
Because as we heard Ryan Nielsen say, no depth chart, especially on the defensive side of the ball, to your point. It's been pretty consistent, but the defensive side of the ball, it truly is. And I love it. I think that he and Trevor have hammered the point home during these first 3 days of, you need to get reps with everybody. You need to be able to play with everyone. Number one, because heaven forbid someone else goes down. And number two, because you don't know what talent may emerge by simply giving someone an opportunity running alongside the quote-unquote ones.
I heard D-Rock talking earlier about another camp of Tank, and he was like, I'm going to say this, and I know I said it last year, and we've talked about this a ton, where it's like, it's okay. We also saw Etienne fumble a ton his first year, and how that drastically changed. You got to give this guy a chance. So I'm glad he's coming to camp and already being a guy again that we're talking about, and it's not kind of just like pushing Tank aside.
I will say, Mia, when it comes to Trevor in the run game, he is so pumped the moment that any of those running backs get through. I think we are literally seeing him respond emotionally to how bad the run game was last year.
Correct. And another part of the red zone complexity is, if you can run the ball, that makes a heck of a lot of other things easier, because then you're not one-dimensional. That was the problem last year.
Predictable.
Everyone knew what the Jaguars were going to do, which is why, and again, I don't believe I'm speaking out of turn. PR, please call me out if I am. As Press Taylor said, during red zone drills yesterday, there were 6 plays that they had amongst 26 snaps. And so the defense had an inkling of what those 6 plays were. That is largely what the Jaguars' red zone offense looked like last year. Because as much as the opposition didn't have the playbook, they knew it was going to be a passing play.
I mean, they pretty much had the playbook. They knew what the plays were going to be. We knew watching it on TV, so the defensive coordinators knew.
And that's why, again, this emphasis that Press has spoken about, Doug has spoken about, of tearing the run game down to the studs and saying, we need to recreate this. We need to reimagine this to make it a true zone blocking scheme, because that's what our personnel is. That is why that is such a huge development. And I think it will especially affect the red zone.
Oh, for sure.
I think there's one person who, and we've talked about this person a lot, who is the linchpin to the run game, and it's not the running backs. It's Mitch Morse. The reason they couldn't run the ball last year is because their center was getting pushed back at times, right? There wasn't enough strength there. So if you have a guy in Mitch Morse who can create some space for the running backs, especially in those A gaps, then all of a sudden, yes, everything else flows when you know you can get 3 yards on whatever down you need it to be.
And again, statistically speaking, behind Jason Kelsey, the best run blocking center in the National Football League the last 2 to 3 years has consistently been Mitch Morse, which is why he was a focal point for the Jaguars this offseason.
Right. And going back to one thing you said, Taylor, I don't think that Calvin's issues were because the defense wasn't disguising things last year. I think he just didn't know the playbook as well as he needed to.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a combination. I think that the coaching obviously wasn't there, but I do think it was so basic that when they started facing some of these other defenses, he was getting turned around because there were games where he wasn't, and then there was other defenses they were facing, and he just looked like he was completely lost. So I do think it was a combination of he hadn't played in a while, he couldn't learn the playbook, and he just also didn't have the experience going against some of the defense in the last few years that he had too.
Building off of the defense in general, Mia, it does seem to me, going back to the emotions of things, like watching, that's to me the most fun part about training camp is not just what happens on the field, but watching the guys on the sidelines. These defensive players absolutely love one another, and I think you can tell that they love the scheme too. Like there's an extra pep in the step of certain defensive players, including Foye.
I promise I was listening to you, Lauren. If you're watching on YouTube and you saw me on my phone, I'm listening to you. I actually am making sure that I am sending RJ Saunders, our producer extraordinaire, my interview with Chad Muma, because I asked him that exact question.
Oh, perfect.
I
Okay.
stressed to him, and I asked Press Taylor this morning a similar question. That trust. That's a consistent word that we have heard from the fallout of a 1-5 run at the end of 2023 to Ryan Nielsen and what his coaching staff have brought to Duval County. That has been the consistent word, is the trust, the transparency. Taylor and I talked about it on Wednesday. Chris Richard spoke on it during the Hunts episode this week. Loyalty is not being a yes man and just going along with, I want to keep everybody happy and, keep the peace and all that. Loyalty is not being afraid to hold each other accountable. And that is what you see. And especially in that DB and that safety room, those guys, they are absolute brothers. Not that everybody else isn't as well on the defensive side of the ball and the entire team, but that group in particular, like there's no boundaries. Like if somebody doesn't hold up their end of the bargain, not afraid to go up to them. Doesn't matter if it's a veteran, a rookie, everybody's being held accountable, because if you don't address things that aren't being done properly now, as was exhibited last year, it will come back to bite you later.
Yeah, there's actually coaching going on, and
that's what I talked to Chad about a lot, because I know Chad really appreciates, and he'll express this. You guys will hear the interview in a little bit. He really appreciates the hands-on coaching that they're receiving.
I don't think people understand just how bad it was, right? Like you in the offseason, Mia certainly talked about it even before we started the show. You talked about how there were certainly massive issues there with Mike Caldwell. But I think now we're starting to even peel back more because we see it going in the right direction.
Yeah.
I saw Chris Richard today get after a player, and because the player didn't run all the way through a drill. And I love seeing, like, he wasn't afraid, like you said, to just go up to him and he's not ripping him a new one. It's not like that. He's just impressing upon him, this is what's really important, because this is what's going to matter in September and hopefully in February.
Well, yeah, and I think a lot of the people that may not understand how bad it actually was is because of the hot start, how good the defense looked in the first half. And we've talked about that a ton. They were the one saving the offense in many instances in that first half of the year. So I think that when people started hearing some of the negativity, they were like, okay, I mean, then how did they play so well in the first 6, 7, 8 games?
Takeaways.
Yeah, and it was just they were in the right spot at the right time in a lot of situations. But you also, as soon as those kind of started to go away and other teams had this film on the defenses of what they were doing, then everything fell apart, and it was all the wheels fell off of the cart, and that's when everything was exposed. Sometimes it takes a minute. Sometimes it takes a minute for certain coaches or players to get exposed and for us to really see the true outcome. That's why the seasons are now 17, probably going to be 18 weeks long.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned the 18 weeks. Trevor's talked about that when he met with media earlier this week. And, it almost is like, I feel like he's like, no, thank you, but I also don't really have a choice in the matter either.
Like,
It's
I
the
can't
NFL
say
is
no.
king, right?
No,
and
I
he's the
thought he
boss.
actually was, he was pretty pointed about it. He's like, if we're going to get an extra game, then something else has got to give.
Right.
Yeah.
And he was very direct
Which
about
everyone is very vocal about that. There's going to have to be another bye week. And I want to read something I just saw, speaking of camp in the AFC South, but for another team. Did you see Pete Prisco's comments today on Will Levis?
No.
So I guess Pete Prisco's very high on Will Levis. And so he
liked
said,
him
my
coming
column
out of
on
the
Will
draft.
Levis, who I think will be a special player. The Josh Allen parallels are there. The Titans have a franchise quarterback. And so someone was like, since you were one of the few media members who are actually high on Levis, and now that you've seen him live, what's your opinion on his potential ceiling? And Pete said a top 5 to 10 quarterback. And then someone else said the arm strength is similar, but I think, talking about the parallels to Josh Allen, the arm strength is similar, but I think the weird angle throws and the ability to throw off base is more like Rodgers. And then Pete Prisco just said, I meant his career trajectory, talking about the parallels with Josh Allen.
Interesting.
So that's going to be unfortunate if
yeah,
that's true.
I mean, if all 4 of these quarterbacks are as good as we think they'll be, then this is going to be one of the best divisions in football for years to come because they're all young.
Yeah.
I mean, let's see who's the youngest. Anthony Richardson?
Yeah, Anthony Richardson
Would be the youngest, yeah. And then is Trevor the senior? Or
Stroud,
no, I think
Stroud would be next after AR.
they're all
And then-
around
I
the
mean,
same
Will
age,
Levis
yeah.
and Trevor are
wanted-
around the same age.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
but
thought
so
Will
in other
Levis
words,
was
all
older.
young.
Will Levis
'cause-
is 20. Yeah, Will Levis is the oldest. He's
Yeah, that's what I
25
thought.
already.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. It's fun. It's fun to have that competitive division. We always talk about, how the AFC North has looked for so long and how competitive from top to bottom and how fun. But at the same time, it kind of sucks because you're like, okay, we finally got it, and then now everybody else
Exactly.
does at the same time.
On the subject of competitive divisions, I think you have to include the AFC West as well,
Yeah.
because certainly Chiefs fans, as much as, yes, they have run the AFC and run the AFC West for the better part of the last 6 years because of Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
When Justin Herbert came along, there was a little bit of a, oh no, we actually are going to have another dude in the division.
The Broncos at one point were the king of the AFC West.
Which brings me to, I don't know how we let this slip through the cracks yesterday's, especially because it was Lauren's birthday, and I know she enjoys whenever our good friend, our old co-host Donna Murphy, has some sort of Patrick Mahomes hate that she needs to spew
Did we
into
get
the
a text?
ether. I got the text last night about the Raiders rookies with the Mahomes doll, which was Kermit
it
the
was
Frog.
Kermit, yeah.
Right, but it has the Mahomes hair and it makes the Mahomes noises. Apparently, because I read the article, I guess the fans brought the doll and gave it to the rookies. But this is now the second time that one of these Mahomes Kermit dolls has made an appearance in the Las Vegas Raiders world. And so Donna would like you all to know that this is her new favorite player in the National Football League, the rookie that accepted the Kermit the Frog doll.
You know how Tom Brady basically changed his entire appearance, right? Like, especially from when he was drafted to now. I feel like Patrick Mahomes is going to go through some sort of voice coaching so that he eventually one day doesn't sound like
deal
No,
with
I
that.
think he loves his voice. He leans into it. Like I think he actually. I mean, especially like the dad bod too.
Yeah.
I think he's actually the like Brady. This is with all due respect to Tom Brady.
Married a
Supermodel. I said, I got to get skinny. I got to eat kale. I got to eat avocados. Like, I got to get after it. Patrick's been with the same girl since he was in 7th grade. And he's out here promoting his dad bod because he is about to have 3 children. And I don't think there's any concern in his world of, I need to be worried about my appearance because he already has 3 Super Bowl rings and his wife ain't going anywhere. And here he is with Andy Reid and Travis Kelce.
Yeah, everybody was kind of commenting about that. They were like, this is not going to come back and bite the Raiders at all.
Yeah, exactly. Mia did catch up with Chad Muma. You will hear that interview with the Jaguars linebacker when we return. You are listening to Helmets and Heels on a Sunshine Turf Friday. As always, you can see their latest project on 1010XL's Instagram. You can visit them online at sunshineturf.info or call 904-892-0580. We'll be back on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Now, a 1010XL Summer Olympic Update brought to you by
USAPark.net Airport Parking.
Western One Sports presents this special update on the 2024 Summer Games. Sponsored by Kohl's. Heading back to school, head back to Kohl's and Kohl's.com for great style and great prices. The competition begins in earnest tomorrow. A lot of interest in swimming. The women's 400-meter freestyle. Katie Ledecky against Australia's Ariarne Titmus. There's already been a sprinkling of soccer. The U.S. men lost to France. The U.S. women beat Zambia. An already controversy in women's soccer with the suspension yesterday of Canadian coach Bev Priestman. And there's word today from Canada's Olympic Committee CEO that Priestman likely was aware that there were drones flying over the practice sessions of the New Zealand team that Canada just defeated. The opening ceremonies today feature 10,500 athletes from 206 nations. They'll compete in 32 sports, everything from basketball to the brand new breaking, and they'll be traveling today in boats along the River Seine. They're expecting 300,000 fans. With this Summer Games update, John Stashower, Western One Sports.
If there's one sale I'm always going to shop, it's Kohl's Friends and Family Sale. I just saved an extra 25% because I spent $75. But even if you spend less, you can still save with 20%. And Kohl's has everything you need for summer fun. I got a cute dress for myself, a casual polo for my husband, and a Ninja Creamy that we can't wait to use. Oh, and I earned Kohl's Cash. Kohl's. Your Friends and Family Sale never fails me. Select styles. Some exclusions apply. Offer ends July 28th. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
This radio commercial was made to convince you to stop speeding. We can't use siren sound effects on the radio, so we'll use other equally jarring sound effects to get your attention. Like telling you that whether you drive a little over the speed limit or a lot, you can crash just the same. You could hurt yourself, or worse, others.
I'm at the scene of the collision.
And the damage you cause will be beyond repair. See, we didn't have to use crash or siren sounds after all. Speeding catches up with you.
Paid for by NHTSA.
Do the Garber wiggle, Garber wiggle, 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 Garber wiggle.
If you're looking for a pre-owned vehicle with lifetime warranty, Garber Auto Mall can wiggle it. Best price, best payment, best trade-in value, Garber Auto Mall can wiggle it. With a huge selection of pre-owned vehicles, Garber Auto Mall can wiggle it. Visit us in Green Cove Springs or at GarberAutomall.com. And remember, at Garber Auto Mall, there is always a little room for wiggle.
Garber wiggle, Garber wiggle, 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 Garber wiggle.
Mia here, and we've all been there before. A weekend trip to the casino gets canceled because real life came calling. MyBookie's new and improved online casino, though, is here to change the game for you. Dive into a truly realistic casino experience featuring the latest in slots, progressive jackpots, and live dealer action, all from the comfort of your home. The live casino is so easy to use, folks. I just go to mybookie.ag, and instead of pressing Sportsbook on that upper left-hand corner, click Live Casino right there at the top. You'll find live dealers ready to deal or spin, just like you're at the casino. The MyBookie Casino provides a Vegas experience where the action is in your hands. And yes, the rumors are true. You don't have to wear pants. Start at MyBookie today with a generous sign-up bonus using promo code 1010XL and a revamped loyalty program ensuring a host of exclusive VIP perks. Sign up and hit the casino with promo code 1010XL. The more you play, the more you win. Only with MyBookie.
The hottest trend in casual dining has expanded in Jacksonville with its 5th location off 103rd. The Flame Broiler serves up protein-packed rice bowls. It's fast, healthy, and affordable. Order online at flamebroilerusa.com or visit any of our 5 locations. Flame Broiler, simply healthy.
Sunshine Turf Friday on Helmets and Heels.
Does the building you go to work in every day need a little love and attention? Jason Parker here with Performance Painting. Great companies take great care of the buildings their staff and customers walk into every day. If the building you're in doesn't match the vision you have for your company, we can help. Go to performance-painting.com. Our highly trained team makes the difference. Quality coatings applied with pride.
Performance painting.
1010XL breaks down training camp all day. Listen for camp news with analysis and insight from the practice field.
Everything counts.
1010XL's training camp coverage is brought to you by Roland Reach Plumbing and Kingfish Pest Control.
Hey, David again with Royal Pest Services. TAP Insulation stands for thermal, acoustic, and pest control. Keep your home cool, noise out, and pests dead. Visit RoyalPestServices.com to schedule a free inspection.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Sometimes you agree with him, sometimes you don't.
On the runway, I'm coming in hot.
CBS Sports senior NFL writer Pete Prisco joins the Franchi Show Friday afternoons on 1010XL. Brought to you by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles.
Make sure your roof is ready for the next Florida storm by scheduling a free roof inspection with Universal Roof and Contracting. Save up to $1,250 on your roof replacement, plus flexible financing up to 15 years. Offer expires July 31st. Restrictions apply. Call 1-855-ROOF-HELP or click universalroof.com.
License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
Attention homeowners, is it time to get your septic tank pumped out? Don't wait until it's too late. At Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing and Septic, our experienced technicians use the latest equipment to pump out your tank safely and efficiently, ensuring that your septic system is running smoothly. Neglecting your septic tank can lead to costly repairs and even health hazards. So call Duck Duck Rooter and schedule your septic tank pumping. Call now, 904-862-6769 or online at duckduckrooter.com. Duck Duck Rooter is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
What countries have the most and least time zones? The answer next.
With storm season blowing wind and rain,
it's even more critical to protect your valuable assets with a policy from Southern Oak Insurance. Ask your agent about Southern Oak today.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
Believe it or not, France has 12 time zones. China, only one. China's Standard Time.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
For the greenest, luscious lawn on the block, choose the local legends, Roundtree Sod. Don't just settle for ordinary. Let Roundtree Sod deliver you a picture-perfect lawn. To get a free estimate, call 7414-SOD. 7414-SOD.
This is Mark Nato. My son Justin injured his hand playing baseball for JU. Southeast Orthopedic Specialist performed surgery just a few days later, and within 5 weeks, he was cleared to play in the ASUN baseball tournament. Our family has trusted Southeast Orthopedic Specialist for years. For any orthopedic injury, let Southeast Orthopedic Specialist take care of you too.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
This is Helmets and Heels.
Kept classy by First Coast Lighting and Fans. Upscale lighting, fans, and home decor.
On 1010XL.
Mia O'Brien, Taylor Dahl, RJ Saunders. I'm Lauren Brooks with you on this Sunshine Turf Friday. Before we get to Mia's interview, I just want to say for all of the 1010 people that have been interviewing players, that have been editing the videos or editing the sound clips, putting it up on all the social media, you guys have done a tremendous job. We have had so many different player interviews over the last few days. Of course, in addition to the press conferences from head coach Doug Peterson, offensive coordinator Press Taylor, and also defensive coordinator Ryan Nielsen. So much great audio. So great job to you, to Hacker, to Hayes, to Josie. Who else is interviewing?
Rick Ballou.
And Rick Ballou. All five of you have done a great job.
And since I already called them out, I will thank, round of applause, RJ, Jaguars PR, for accepting and making all of those interviews possible and ensuring we got all the players we could possibly get over the last few days.
It's been a whirlwind, I will say that, I'm sure, for PR and for everyone else as well. All right, so you did get to catch up with Jaguars linebacker Chad Muma.
I did indeed, and it'll be fascinating to see. You know, he kept a good poker face, although he was very specific about what Ryan Nielsen and the scheme brings. He kept a poker face. He is competing for a starting role in the 4-3 base defense. Of course, Ryan Nielsen says there'll be multiple fronts, as most NFL defenses are. But I think you'll appreciate, especially for those of you that enjoy getting in the weeds out there in terms of defensive jargon and exactly what culture building is going on in that building, I think you'll enjoy this one with the third-year linebacker. Pleased to be joined with Jaguars linebacker, and as we were just discussing off air, newly married Chad Muma. Chad, how you doing? Congrats on the nuptials.
You know, I appreciate it. Yeah, newly married, so getting used to that life, having a wife and doing all of that. But, you know, excited for the season now. You know, got married June 30th, and now we're rolling into the season, so ready to go.
You're just telling me trained a little bit here, trained a little bit back in Colorado where you're from. Describe your training this offseason comparatively to a year ago.
Yeah, I think last offseason what I was doing was, you know, I was getting my lifts in, but, you know, this year I really focused on, you know, parts that were kind of hurting me last year. You know, last year in training camp I had some, you know, tendonitis stuff that I was acting with, so I really focused on that this offseason. And, you know, I really focused on my running portion as well and just making sure that my legs feel good, you know, coming into camp. And, you know, I really feel like I took the extra work this offseason. I was, you know, once I got my lift done, then I was doing extra work, what I needed to get done. So, you know, I took a, you know, more aggressive look on this offseason to really work myself.
I think that's been a consistent refrain from everybody we've talked to. Everybody's done that little 1/8 extra, that little 1/10 extra. Conversations as a group before you headed out into the offseason back in January, did that maybe fuel this extra effort from everybody?
Oh, it really did. I think, you know, everyone left the offseason in a bad taste, and it's still here. You know, we haven't played a game yet, so everyone still feels that. And I think that's why everyone's working so hard to, you know, this offseason and now coming in training camp. You know, Coach Peterson's even working us a little bit harder out there and switching our schedule up a little bit. And so it's good work, and it's what we need.
4-3 means, I'm assuming that means we may be seeing a little bit more of you out there. Big picture, Ryan Nielsen, what's the biggest difference that he's brought into this building?
I'd say it's attack and aggressive. We talk about it, we preach it all the time, and he's really bringing that mindset to the defense. You know, we talk about it in our meeting room every single day. You know, how are we attacking this rep? How are we winning the pre-snap? And you know, it's a lot more attention to detail, and I think it's, you know, it's great, and it's really holding guys accountable to what we need to do out there.
With him in particular, is it the hands-on teaching? Is that something that you just look at and you're like, that's what I want in my defense coordinator?
No, it really is. You know, when I'm, you know, working the outside linebacker position a little bit, he's hands-on. He's getting in there. He's pushing you a little bit, so you want to push him back a little bit, and it's great work. And you know, I'm really thankful that he's able to, you know, step in there and show us, you know, exactly what he's trying to get out of us.
We haven't really gotten to know Matt House all that much. We talked to him, of course, when the Jags drafted not one, not two, but three LSU guys, 2 on defense. What is it about Matt that maybe is different than other coaches you've had before?
Yeah, I think, you know, Matt, he's a great coach. He gets super aggressive. He's super locked in on the details as well. And so if we mess up, he's holding us accountable, and he's making sure that we get the corrections that we need. And he's, you know, making sure every single rep, he says, if you're not, you know, taking that rep 100%, you're getting worse. So you got to get better every single rep, even in walkthroughs when you're doing your steps. And I think that he's done a great job helping us in our indie and also on the sideline, you know, talking about what we see and what we need to do better.
How will your role be different this year?
Yeah, you know, last year was a lot of special teams, so I'm hoping, you know, and I'm trying to work to be more on the defense and have more of an influence on there. So, you know, if I have that special teams, I love playing special teams, and I want to also make an impact on defense.
Forget it, Wyoming. You guys ran a 4-3 at Wyoming, right?
We did occasionally when it was that base package, yeah. So we would run a little 4-3 as well.
Okay, so a little familiarity, a little bit of a callback for you and Dewey.
Yes, no, it is a little bit, and you know, I like the 3 linebacker look, so yeah, I'm excited for it.
Absolutely. For you guys, these first few days of camp, I know Press kind of walked us through earlier. So much of it is you're trying to get stuff on tape so that you guys can bring it in to the classroom and you can watch it. Is it frustrating at times when things maybe look a little clunky because you're almost intentionally setting things up to be more difficult?
No, you are, and I think that's a great job on our coaches as well. They're showing us every single look that we could possibly get, and it's good because you need it when you have a new defense and you have a new coordinator in there, and you really got to talk through all the little adjustments that you could have during a play. And so being able to have that and work through it, it's frustrating a little bit. It gets you a little bit. You're like, damn, excuse me, you just didn't want to have that play, but you know, it's great work.
Yeah, the confidence part of it is what I'm so fascinated by, because it's got to be frustrating.
Oh yeah, it's frustrating, but you know, you get that correction and then you're ready to roll the next day. You don't let it happen again. You know, if you mess up or you get a mistake on that play, you know, you wash it, learn from it, and you go on to the next one.
Last one from me, Chad. Emotionally, mentally, you enter year 3. Compare it to the previous 2 years. What's different about this year?
You know, I just think I'm being more intentional about my body, especially just to stay healthy. You know, I feel like I've been dealing, like I said last year, with a lot of tendonitis stuff, and so I'm really being really intentional off the field, and especially in the playbook. You know, that's something that you always got to be intentional with. But you know, running to the ball, you have Foy out there running every single time. He's pushing, motivating guys. So you know, it's just being that. Also, someone else like that. You know, you're a little bit older. You got to show how to practice and how to play out there.
Chad, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mia.
Yeah, I forgot about the quick little sorry. He knew it was for radio and for YouTube. We appreciate Chad as always. One of those guys who, when he speaks and he explains defensive schemes and coverage, I think we were talking about this on Monday, Lauren, about making it appetizing, not just for the P1, as we call them in radio, those diehard in the weeds fans, but also for Mr. and Mrs. Jones, who may not be as familiar with defensive jargon. And I think he does a very good job of simplifying things, and definitely great on camera and on radio too. Don't worry, Chad. You could say I mean,
DAM is not a cuss word.
DAM isn't a bad word.
People don't know though.
Like
it's hard to tell, because I remember when I first started, I was like, I don't cuss really, anyways. But I remember being like, getting in trouble for saying one word that wasn't to me. I'm not going to say it because I can't say it on air, but I didn't think it was a bad word, and then it was. But then other words like ass you can't say, and I'm like, well, gosh.
It's all very confusing. All right, when we come back, great job, Mia, and thanks again to Jags PR for setting up all the interviews this week with everyone. Like I said, Hayes, Hacker, Rick, Mia have all done a terrific job, and Joe as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard to keep up with so many people doing all these interviews, but we hope you guys have enjoyed it. And I know that it's really fun getting to know these players' personality. When we return, we'll let you hear from more Jaguars players. Also, I have something to complain about sports-wise when we return. I'll fill you in on that. You are listening to Helmets and Heels on a Sunshine Turf Friday on 1010 XL 92.5 FM.
There's a new one-stop shop for all things Florida State. Subscribe to 1010XL Seminoles YouTube channel, up-to-the-minute updates, analysis, and more. Plant the spear and subscribe to 1010XL Seminoles channel today.
Let's fire up the flavor and ignite those appetites. Let's slow down and smell the barbecue. Because all your favorites are smoked for hours and ready for eating when you are. From our famous ribs to slow smoked pork. Enjoy some perfection by the plateful, safely in our dining room or in the comfort of your home. With curbside pickup, drive-through, and delivery. Sonny's Barbecue, local pitmasters since '68.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. From GFL, Green for Life.
Right now, you may be running a little late, or feeling stressed, or overwhelmed, and you may be going a bit over the speed limit. So to help you relax, exhale. Ease up on the gas. You'll get there when you get there. Take a moment to just chill. This little break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
It's a Sunshine Turf Friday. The highest quality artificial turf at affordable prices. Visit sunshineturf.info today.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, Prime Men's Medical Center will get your sex life back in just one visit. Their painless, breakthrough medical treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Prime Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Prime Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments will restore your sex life regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. Plus, you'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients will have their testosterone checked free. Call 904-902-8222. 904-902-8222. To regain your sex life in just one visit, call now. 904-902-8222.
International soccer returns this summer. Don't miss Premier League clubs Wolves and West Ham in Jacksonville for the Stateside Cup, July 27th at Everbank Stadium. Tickets as low as $35 at statesidecup.com.
Did you know a metal roof from Prime Roofing will last 2 to 3 times longer than a shingle roof? If you want a better roof, think metal. Think Prime Roofing. Schedule your free estimate today at primeroofingfl.com. That's primeroofingfl.com.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
July 26th, 2005. Baseball Hall of Famer Greg Maddux records his 3,000th career strikeout against the Giants.
Thermal Engineers is hiring. Thermal Engineers is a commercial HVAC contractor serving North Florida for over 20 years. Qualified technicians and installers. How does top pay, 401k, and full benefits sound? And a signing bonus. Is it time for a positive change in your career? Join the family-oriented commercial HVAC contractor at Thermal Engineers. Call 230-1172 or go to Thermal Engineers, Inc., an equal opportunity employer.
Hello, I'm Malcolm Anthony. I've been practicing criminal defense law for over 40 years. It's what I love to do, what I do well. Stay out of trouble, but if you don't, call me, Malcolm Anthony, at 2854-LAW. 2854-LAW for Malcolm Anthony.
Good people drink good beer.
And great people drink Mocama, a refined craft brewery out of Fernandina Beach, Florida. Mocama Beer Company brings sophisticated flagship beers, including Cosmico IPA and Dune Garden Lager, to the greater Jacksonville area. Whether you're hitting the water with friends or enjoying a backyard barbecue, Mocama has the perfect fare for your summer activities. Look for us wherever great beers are sold and find your Mocama.
At Hodges Mazda, what Mazda moves you? Find out. Take advantage of 0% APR on our versatile lineup of 2024 Mazda crossover SUVs. Lauren Brooks here. Choose from the off-road ready 2024 Mazda CX-50, the stylish 2024 Mazda CX-30, or the tailored for you Mazda CX-5. With 0% APR for 36 months, you'll find your perfect CUV. Our professional non-commissioned sales team always puts your best interests first, and you'll get 2 years free maintenance as well. Visit Hodges Mazda today or shop online at hodgesmazda.com. See dealer for details. Terms and fees for qualified applicants expires July 31st, 2024.
Attention skilled electricians. Are you undervalued at your current company? Time to step up to the bigger projects and better opportunities. Join the team at Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering not just the job, but an experienced, top-notch pay, unbeatable benefits, and the best working environments in the business. Please join the team that values your skills and rewards your hard work. Elevate your career to new heights. Apply today at millercareers.com, an equal opportunity employer.
Transmission troubles? I'm Robin Sidbury, owner of Action Transmission Specialist on Merrill Road. So come in and see how we can help solve your transmission troubles. We service all makes and models. Remember, get traction. Call Action at 744-0755.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Helmets and Heels is switched on by
First Coast Lighting and Fans.
Upscale lighting, fans, and home decor on 1010XL.
Little John Montgomery.
I love this. I think I put it on here.
Is this what they were playing at the country bar you were at the other day, Taylor?
Yeah, so I was telling you, Lauren, I made a play. Like recently, I've been in a big like '90s country music fan, so I made a whole playlist. And a lot of that's mixed into mine, but it's just I made a whole playlist of like just '90s country, and so now all my friends are like, "Okay, Taylor, that's enough of '90s country."
No,
and I'm like, it's
never
so
get
good.
enough.
But then lately, now I've been like. We'll get in the car and Maria will turn on my playlist and I'm like, oh, and she's like, it's actually kind of nice. And I'm like,
And this is, I said it wrong. I was thinking this was a different song. This is Shenandoah.
Yeah.
I said John Anderson probably because I also am always on a 90s kick and saw a band, well, really just one person last week, and he was fantastic. He's a guy named Hunter Hayes, but he goes by Hayes. You have seen him. And he's actually recently signed a record deal in Nashville, but we go to see him all the time. Used to be a band called Cumberland, now called Hayes. But he was like, I'll take requests. And so, of course, I just threw out like John Anderson. So that's what was in my head. But that's like my favorite thing is somebody just being like, name any country song you want to hear and I'll play it.
Yeah.
And, it was so good. He also did Adele. Someone requested Adele. And I was amazed he did that too. But either way. All right. So I have a complaint about sports, and it's the fact that the last few days, if you go on any sports website, you would have seen when it comes to Major League Baseball and the upcoming trade deadline, you would have seen Randy Arosarena's picture because people were assuming that he was going to get traded. Well, I've been mad seeing that. And now I have to complain that he was traded because now all these people were right in predicting that the Rays would trade him. So they did overnight to the Mariners. And that sucks. Like he's the best player. He has been, not recently, but for the last few years, he's been the best player on the Rays. And that sucks as far as your sports fandom to just assume that they're pretty much always going to do this.
Yeah, it is. And I feel like there's certain teams when we talk about the Rays, the Pirates, those are a couple that it's just kind of been what they do. So, yeah, and you would hope at some point they break that. You know, at some point the cycle has to come to an end because the Rays were just right there. Like they were so close. So why wouldn't you keep building off of that? And that's what's so interesting with it. But I mean, the Cubs, honestly, spend a lot of money and are still always wrapped up in that conversation of guys that they're right now. Like, who are they selling? I'm like, first of all, we have like 4 guys you could actually worth selling. And why would you sell them? They're all young. Like 2 of them being rookies. Why would you get rid of them? So it's frustrating. And that's the one thing about baseball, though. It's just, I feel like there used to be this loyalty where you'd see these guys on teams for 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 years, and that just does not happen or very rarely happen anymore.
It's frustrating.
And not always on the player, by the way.
Yeah.
It's the teams.
I'm just going to refrain from comment given the state of the Major League Baseball team that I root for. Coach Campo is literally beside himself. This man is like typing through it on Facebook. He just doesn't know. Today, he's like walking me through. He's probably listening right now laughing. At practice today, he's walking me through like his analysis of it and how Juan Soto's the only one who's actually a clutch hitter because Aaron Judge only hits when there's 2 outs and nobody on him. Well, yes, sometimes he'll hit a solo home run, and so that turns into a run on the board. It ultimately doesn't do you a heck of a lot of good because when you, in the rare occasion the Yankees do have a runner in scoring position, if Aaron Judge comes to the plate, he is not bringing him home like he once upon a time was. So yeah, I'm just gonna stay away from baseball and just watch it casually until good things happen again.
I have a friend who is a Yankees fan and a Giants fan, and it was when that video the other day of Daniel Jones with like the way overthrown slant pass went viral. And he was like, what did I do to deserve this? And it was like the Yankees and then that clip of Daniel Jones. And I was like, this poor guy.
Right.
But believe me, I've been there, so I don't feel so bad for you.
576, one of our Heeligans on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures would like some Marlins discussion in this Major League Baseball update.
Oh, okay.
I will tell you that the pride of Cedar Rapids, Washington High School, A.J. Puck, now on his way to the Arizona Diamondbacks as of last night. The Arizona Diamondbacks, I think people forget, were in the World Series last year, Lauren and Taylor. And so they do a good job of going out and getting a guy who started as a starter in the early onset of his career, but has found a lot of success. His ERA hovering around, I believe it's like 2.4 right now, as a reliever coming out of the bullpen. And so it'll be curious to see if that's where he sticks. And also, I mean, trading for relievers is always fascinating to me because you can't guarantee situation. And that goes for all pitchers, but especially relievers, because if they were an 8th inning guy in one location, are they the 7th inning guy somewhere else?
Yeah.
Are they the closer somewhere else? And so good on the Diamondbacks, though, because Lord knows the Yankees need help out of the bullpen. Yeah. Because Mr. Weaver is not Jared or his brother Weaver of Once Upon a Time.
I feel terrible for the Marlins because they were another team where you felt like they were getting there and you felt like, okay, they were on this upward trajectory. Granted, they have struggled with injury after injury after injury this year. They're starting 5 pitchers that were supposed to begin the year. All 5 of them had gotten injured this season, and I think 3 of them have missed the entire year, the majority of the year. When you do that, when you're losing all of your starting pitching, obviously you are not going to be able to win the amount of games that you thought. And that's what it's so important in every sport. But I also feel like in baseball, the health of your starting pitching and at least the main guys in your bullpen is so important because that's the main thing. When those guys start getting injured, that's when things just kind of drop off.
Older baseball fans, Mia, would be like, I can't believe nowadays you need a 7th inning guy.
Yeah.
These guys used to throw complete games.
The craziest one for me is Jeremy Crochet out in Chicago. I know, not with the Cubs, but with the White Sox, Taylor. So I know you've been kind of monitoring this a little bit. But this storyline for me is just absurd. And it actually kind of goes along with what Robert on the MyBookie Digital Studio chat line just asked. He asked about a floor baseball salary. Let's not talk about a floor to a baseball salary. Let's instead talk about he is 24 years old. 24, I believe. He has 2 years left on his rookie contract. I know that much. He has been an all-star so far this year, was voted to the all-star game, has been one of the better young pitchers, starting pitchers in the majors this year. But because the White Sox are once again in tank mode, they want to preserve him. So they're only throwing him after they start him for 2 or 3 innings.
He's an opener.
Right, but here's the problem. Awful. Here's the problem. He has the trajectory to eventually be a Cy Young winner.
Yeah.
Don't you want to get this guy opportunities, even if the team behind him stinks?
Yeah.
Don't you want him to have opportunities to go the distance? So, I don't know, maybe once you do turn it around in a year or 2, although it's the White Sox, so that's never going to happen because of ownership. Wouldn't you want to do that? Better yet, if you are to put him on the block, don't you want to showcase
that he can go longer than 3-4
Correct.
innings?
So, he is on the block now. According to his agent and a report that's out there, his agent has told interested teams, we are accepting offers. Once you trade for him by July 31st, he will go the distance. He won't just be a starter or what do we call him?
Then you'll see it.
Opener. He won't be an opener. However, we do want to preserve his arm. So if you do trade for him, you need to guarantee you will sign him to an extension by October 1. Otherwise, if you're in the postseason, he's not pitching at all. That is the wildest mandate in all
Well, that's the White
sports
Sox organization
I've
for
ever.
you.
No, this is his agent.
Oh, his agent.
This isn't even the White Sox. I have never
But his
heard of
agent is
anything.
not limiting his pitching.
No, apparently Crochet would just say, yeah, no, I got to preserve myself.
The White Sox are like, nah, we're not.
Currently, but now the agent is
getting
also
involved
saying
in
that they're
it.
going to protect.
That's weird. That's.
I mean, let's be real. For the old heads out there, yes, they're babying pitchers in 2024.
sure.
And in respect to, well, we want to preserve his arm. Everybody and their mother has had Tommy John, if not 2 at this point of their career.
And everybody's throwing 100, 102.
Right, but since they were 6 years old, and it's, I mean, look, it's not a great situation we're in. It's probably why the game is, for lack of a better term, dying quickly.
Yeah.
But it doesn't help when you have this exciting young prospect who is in the majors, is dominating against major league lineups, and you are refusing to actually utilize his services.
Our general manager Steve Griffin came into our office yesterday. It's funny that this is your complaint, because he came in to complain about baseball yesterday also. And he used to love baseball when he was younger. And he's like, it's just lost everything. And he was like, I was watching a game the other day. Why are they wearing oven mitts when they're running the bases?
It's a sled.
And I was like, so they don't break their fingers. And he was like, come on. And he was like, that looks so silly. He's like, they literally have full on just like armor on now. After they bat, they take off their shin guards. They take off their elbow guards. They put on their little sliding gloves. They have a whole face mask on their face. And I was like, yeah, I get it. They're just trying to protect everything now. And I was like, I get the face, because there are these guys are pitching faster than ever and more frequently.
You
So
can get
you
out
don't
of the
want
way
to
of an 80 mile per hour fastball back then, not 100.
Yeah, but it is, some of the gloves do look kind of like they're massive, and they're like running with their little.
And don't worry, 400 on the text line, designed by Lifetime Enclosures. We will spare you the Braves talk. If you are interested in that, please tune in from 6 to 10 a.m.
Yeah, Dan and Jeff were going at it this morning.
They started the show this morning. Start of day 3 of training camp for the Jags, but Jeff and Dan had to go in about the Mets and the Braves. So
Dan came in my office this morning and was like, I'm trading you straight up for Jeff. Jeff's going to noon. You're coming in the morning.
How would you feel about that?
I was like, what do I get
6
out of this?
Yeah, exactly. Having been on that show once upon a time, 6 a.m. comes so incredibly early.
Yeah.
But
He's like, by the way, you're doing 6 to 7 by yourself still.
Yeah.
I was like, well, okay.
You would probably enjoy that a
Yeah.
little bit. Back when I did the hour by myself, I absolutely 100% hated it. I am not a monologue type of speaker.
Yeah, just talking.
Yeah, just talking to myself. I cannot do that. All right, when we return, we will get to some more Jaguar sound. Also, it's a Feel Good Friday. Let us know what's making you feel good this Friday. You are listening to Helmets and Heels on 1010XL and 92.5 FM on a Sunshine Turf Friday.
Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are expecting slight turbulence. Please remain in your seats until the captain has turned off the fasten seatbelt sign.
We have clearance, Clarence. What's our vector, Victor?
1010XL.
It's the only way to fly.
Did you know you can charge the all-new Honda Electric Prologue in the same receptacle as your phone? You don't need these special charging stations at your home. Simply plug in your Honda or your phone. See your local Honda dealer now. We're electrified.
Mia here, and it was 1 year ago today. I woke up to head to Jaguars training camp, looked out my back window, and my entire backyard was flooded, and my HVAC had been knocked out. What did I do? Well, I called my friends at Duck Duck Air Conditioning, and they were there within 24 hours. They are a full-service AC company and provide full system replacements and repairs to your current systems. Be like me and call 904-862-6769 to schedule service right away. Whether that's air conditioning, plumbing, or septic, Duck Duck Rooter is there to help. Duck Duck Rooter, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hey folks, this is Dave Benyon with my son Ammon here from Zero Res. Ammon, you've been cleaning air ducts for a while now. What are some of the reasons customers might consider getting their air ducts cleaned?
There are many reasons. Many times, people suffer needlessly from poor indoor air quality produced by the conditions in their air system. Construction dust, the presence of bacterial growth, and years' worth of buildup all come together to make your air ducts a pretty gross place. If you suffer from allergies, have recently moved, recently remodeled, or have never had your air ducts cleaned, then now is the best time to call. By calling Zero Res, you'll you'll have the peace of mind of knowing that you called the best of the best. Our state-of-the-art truck mount system and top-of-the-line service representatives simply can't be found anywhere else. Google Zero-Res and read thousands of 5-star reviews.
So what kind of deals can I expect?
Just mention that you heard us on the radio, and we'll give you $100 off your air duct cleaning.
Wow, that sounds like a pretty great deal. Remember, folks, Zero-Res,
spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
Zerorez. Zerorez.
It's a Helmets and Heels Sunshine Turf Friday.
An ACL tear can be a devastating injury with prolonged pain and rehabilitation. Hi, I'm Dr. George Bari. I'm a sports medicine orthopedic surgeon who grew up right here in Jacksonville and then went on to train with the world-renowned Dr. James Andrews. At Bari Orthopedics, we use the most current techniques to get you back on the field with less pain and quicker rehabilitation. We treat all types of sports injuries with the newest techniques available. Please call us for consultation or visit BariOrthopedics.com.
Find out more at BariOrthopedics.com. That's BAHRI Orthopedics.com.
Mia here, and we've all been there before. A weekend trip to the casino? Canceled because real life came calling. MyBookie's new and improved online casino is here to change the game. Dive into a truly realistic casino experience featuring the latest in slots, progressive jackpots, and live dealer action, all from the comfort of your own home. The live casino is so easy to use. Just go to MyBookie and click Live Casino at the top. You'll find live dealers ready to deal or spin just like you're at the casino. The MyBookie Casino provides a Las Vegas experience when the action's in the palm of your hands and you don't even need to wear pants. Start at MyBookie today with a generous sign-up bonus using promo code 1010XL. A revamped loyalty program ensures a host of exclusive VIP perks. Sign up and hit the casino with promo code 1010XL. The more you play, the more you win, only with MyBookie.
Hey, I'm Tony from Tony D's Pizza. People ask me all day long, is it the water that makes the difference? Well, yes and no. Even water can't make a good pizza. It's the ingredients, too. The best tomatoes, the best flour, and the best cheese. Oh, and a lot of love. Tony D's New York Pizza, Bay Meadows and 295.
Hi, this is Dave Barker. Multi-unit hair grafting is now available at IHRS and can give you 3 times more hair in one procedure over a traditional hair transplant.
Multi-unit hair grafting gave me more hair in one procedure and within my budget.
You can grow your hair back with this exclusive new procedure. Call for a free evaluation. Call IHRS 904-777-IHRS 777-IHRS 777-4477.
I'm Jeff Middlecoff with Trustline Mortgage. My business partners Alan Tyre, Bill Pappas, and Ken Rimley have been helping first-time home buyers with their mortgage financing all over Florida for 34 years. First-time home buyers can get no or low down payments, anywhere from 0 to 3.5% down. As a first-time home buyer with Trustline Mortgage, you get added benefits for doing your loan with us, like lower rates on your mortgage insurance and lower closing costs. Oh, and did I forget to mention that Trustline gives first-time home buyers better mortgage interest rates? Here's the bottom line. Trustline Mortgage wants to help first-time home buyers accomplish your goal of home ownership. That's why Trustline Mortgage is offering the best first-time home buyer benefits around, period. Trustline Mortgage delivers with no and low down payments, lower closing costs, and better interest rates. Call Trustline Mortgage today at 381-LOAN. Yes, 381-LOAN to find out how we can help you buy your dream home. Or visit our website at trustlinemortgage.com. Trust your instincts and follow the line to Trustline Mortgage.
Certain restrictions apply. See office for details. Trustline is an equal housing opportunity. MLS number 331480.
Home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Get your first look at the team inside Everbank Stadium during our 2024 stadium practice Saturday, August 3rd. The season is almost here. Don't miss your chance to see the players up close before they take the field this fall. Stadium practice is free to attend and seats are going fast, so register for tickets at jaguars.com/training camp. We can't wait to see you there.
This is your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist Local Sports Update. I'm Andrew Gibson for 1010XL. This update brought to you by JEA. Jaguars offensive coordinator Press Taylor spoke this morning about the progress of rookie wide receiver Brian Thomas Jr.
handled things really well. He has retained a lot of the information that we taught through the summer, carried it over very well. Everybody's getting used to the speed of the red zone particularly. So when you start there, it makes it tough at times for the condensed space, the way things happen. The value he's going to bring, we expect it to show up in the red zone. We expect it to show up in all aspects of our offense as well. So those are things that, we haven't necessarily got to at this point in time. Again, it's about putting in concepts that we think will help down the road, not necessarily they're going to win a rep today that on a scripted practice.
Press Taylor on Brian Thomas Jr. It's 89 degrees at 1 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Wow! I feel good.
It's a feel-good Friday.
We're gonna have a good time together. And that would be good. So good!
Text or tweet something that makes you feel good today.
I hear good things. Really good things.
Cheers to the freaking weekend. Drinks it up. Yeah. Oh, let the demo song sing.
Hey, it's Dahl, Mia O'Brien, RJ Saunders. I'm Lauren Brooks with you. It doesn't really feel like a feel-good Friday to me today, me and Taylor, because of the fact that we have training camp practice tomorrow.
And this is day 3 of training camp. I was just about to post this on my personal Instagram story. So this feels like Wednesday. Frank Frangie literally said to start the Frangie show yesterday that it was Tuesday. And on Wednesdays, we wear pink. So that's why I got pink on today.
Because you think it's Wednesday. But it is Friday. So for everybody who gets to just enjoy the weekend, certainly that's going to be fun. And I know the Miller Electric Center for fans is sold out tomorrow. So they sold out all 2,000 seats. I had someone ask me if I could get tickets. The answer is unfortunately no. But the good news is the fans so far to this point, I think, have been really locked in, and I'm sure they will be tomorrow as well. And you can feel their energy. I was asked, do you think the players like having the fans there? I said, absolutely.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm sure that they know there's going to be certain things that come out of it when fans are there that maybe they don't want to, as in maybe some fans will say like, oh, that person completely missed this block or blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, it definitely brings a different level of energy, and that's what these guys love. They love like that game time feeling. They love the excitedness of that. So I'm sure there is an extra level of, okay, there's all of these people that care enough to come watch us practice.
Absolutely.
In 100 degrees.
I heard a little kid today, who was probably like 8 years old, behind me in the stands, and he yelled out, Trevor, stop the turnovers.
Oh my gosh.
Get better. And I was like,
get better.
Oh my gosh. That just, like, Leon looked at me and he goes, did you hear that? And I was like, oh yeah. I didn't even turn to look at the kid. I was just like, that is fantastic.
I did have one of my little friends, shout out to our friend Chloe. She's 5. She went to her first Jaguar practice ever today.
Nice.
So got to catch up with my friends for a little bit, but it was funny. I asked her, I was like, what player are you most excited to see? And I don't know if this is just because she saw his uniform or not, but she was looking at me, she was looking out there, and she just goes, 44! And I was like, Mr. Kevin is so proud of you, hearing you refer to Trayvon Walker as 44 because if you know, you know. And also, so many of our Heeligans, I see you on the MyBookie Digital Studio and, of course, on all our social channels. Y'all believe Trayvon Walker, big year incoming.
Yeah, I think around the league, people are expecting that. Fan base-wise, people are expecting that. All of us on the station, I've heard every single show mention about how much they think Trayvon Walker is going to mean to the defense in general, but what also, and if you even want to see, I mean, this guy went from 3.5 sacks to 10 sacks, and so what does that next leap? Is that where it is? I think, honestly, in my opinion, it's still a successful season if he stays at 10, 11, 12. That double-digit sack number is what I'm expecting from Trayvon Walker for the rest of his career, as long as he's obviously healthy and on the field. And I heard Frank and Hayes talking about that, and both of them were like, we're just expecting this to be such, at the end of this next season, these conversations of did the Jags mess up drafting Trayvon Walker are going to be completely thrown out the window.
Yeah, I certainly hope so. That it does feel like a tired narrative.
Yeah.
And that's what narratives often become is tired.
Sorry, I will tell you, because it just reminded me of saying that they had the 41 through 50 of this top 100. And speaking of Aiden Hutchinson, he notches there. So Rashawn Gary at 50, Derrick Henry, Jared Goff, Aiden Hutchinson at 47, Antoine Winfield, Jamar Chase, Demario Davis, Kyle Hamilton, Matthew Stafford, Lane Johnson in that next group. So that conversation, I really truly think we're seeing Trayvon on this list next year, and it should be around that same marking. If you're putting Aiden there, then we're going to see Trayvon there.
So Josh Hines-Allen hasn't made the list yet. Meaning he
that's
will
pretty
be,
good.
Yeah, he'll be the top 40 at this point in time.
We like that.
Yeah.
If he doesn't make the list at all,
no, that'd be insane.
We made a lot of we had a lot of criticism of various lists during the dry period, and this may be the biggest critique of all.
There's certain ones you just have to. Like if you don't, you're dumb. Like, and this is players. There's no way players aren't noticing this guy that had 17.5 sacks last season.
100%. All right, let's talk about Dewey Wingard, one of our favorite people to interview, Mia.
Yes, Hacker, as I alluded to yesterday, had never spoken to Dewey Wingard, and then he had the opportunity to, and he came over to me, and his jaw was on the ground, and he was like, oh my God, it was the greatest soundbite I've ever interviewed. This was my personal favorite soundbite from yesterday's interview.
When I was here, I don't even think Doug Marrone even knew who I was for 2 years, honestly. It was that kind of vibe. It was just like it wasn't good. It was a bad culture, and you knew when you stepped out on the field, it was like, we're going to lose. It was just terrible. But now it's like, okay, we're here. We got this new facility. We got great players. It's really Doug. Like, when you see Doug leading the way, like, he's a winner, and you want to follow winners. So there's definitely a culture change, but it's time to win. It's time to win. So we can all sense that. And it's weird because last year it was more of like, oh God, we have to win. But now it's like, it's time to win. Everyone's got that look in their eye. Everyone's ready to roll. No one's thinking and just going out and balling.
And I thought Urban Meyer was the only one who didn't know players' names.
Urban Meyer didn't know anybody's name.
How is Doug Marrone still catching strays? He's been gone for 4 years. Like, what are we doing?
Well, you remember when someone forgets your name, or calls you the wrong name?
And it's also it's the philosophical notion of Doug
how much
Marrone
it's
wasn't as in the
changed.
weeds, and that's something that I've continued to echo during Doug Peterson's 2+ years here. When I've had conversations with him, and he brings up the 52nd guy on the roster or the 88th guy on the roster. It's not him flexing. It's truly him being invested in every single guy on the roster and knowing their life story and knowing how they can contribute to the football team. And again, that's the attention to detail that Chad Muma spoke of that Ryan Nielsen brings every single day to the table.
Well, and I also think for some of these guys, their introduction to the NFL was that. And it was this toxic culture. Locker room or just off the field between players, between coaches, really started to shine when they weren't winning anymore. And then these guys were coming in that 2018, 19, 20 season into this just wreck. And that's how they're introduced into the NFL. So probably some of them were like, I guess this is what the NFL is. And now they have this like vision of, it doesn't have to be like this. It can be healthy. We can get along. We can want to support our teammates. We can want to go and work every day. And I'm sure that's we talk about culture shock when you come from college football to the NFL, but imagine coming from college football to the NFL in one of the most toxic environments you can be in.
I'm sure some players in college, before the Miller Electric Center was built, had better facilities at their schools than they did when they first came to the NFL. That facility, if you've never been, I can't say enough good things about it.
Josh Hines-Allen, actually, when he addressed the season ticket holders today, I was already in the indoor for interviews, so I could only faintly hear him. So Heel, again, if you were there, please confirm. He referenced the fact that he had been here, much like Dewey, during the bad times and the good times. And as he noted, even in the 2020 season, those practices where no fans could attend. The Episcopal school year, where it was a limited amount of fans because the Miller Electric Center was being built. And so, it's been a long and winding road to get to here. And we forget Dewey Wingard has been here as long as Josh Hines-Allen.
Yeah. And to his point, too, because he talked about, transferring those things, transferring this positive, how everything's kind of positive in the locker room and this culture into wins now. And we've mentioned that the last couple of days of, the jerseys, the stadium, the contract extensions, all of these things, this positive culture that everyone's happy on, but you got to go win or none of it really matters.
I mentioned earlier that I think the most important person on offense as far as running the football is Mitch Morse, the center. And here he is on being the offensive line's vocal leader.
It's still so early to say. We understand the onus that's brought upon us, the expectations that are brought with this group. We're receptive to those. We also understand the criticism, and that, it's a position that's rarely thanked, and that's okay. We understand what our job is to do, and that's to progressively help move the ball down the field, no matter what the yardage, no matter what the down or distance, and then hopefully end up with points at the end of the drive. But it takes all 5 of us to work together, and that's the beautiful thing about football.
Thanks to Joe C. for catching up with him. And certainly this is an important facet of the offense is that run game.
I could listen to Mitch Morse read an encyclopedia. He does
It
not
was very,
have
soothing.
He
and
doesn't
calm.
have the voice that you would expect this gruff center in the National Football League. I mean, much like Jason Kelsey, honestly. You look at him and you're like, no way, this guy has this very pleasant
I wonder if Mitch can sing like Jason can.
That's true. May have to ask him. We'll see what we can do. I know when I briefly said hi to him on Wednesday, and he said, he's like, yeah, no, because we had forewarned him during OTAs and his teammates and everyone on staff had forewarned him of, hey, it's going to get hot.
Yeah.
When you return in July. And he was like, my God, that was the hottest
You weren't
practice that I
lying.
have ever. And he's from Texas.
Yeah.
And he said that was the hottest practice that I've ever.
It was just
been a
so
part of.
humid and muggy. That's what
It's
gets
a different.
them. Yeah.
It's a different element.
Yes, it certainly is. Josie also caught up with Ronald Darby, and Ronald Darby talked about the competition in the secondary.
I just go out there and work. This year 10 for me. I've been making plays. You don't make it a year 10 not being able to play. It's true. So I just go out there and just do what I got to do. I do all the time. Just go out there and play.
I
think year 10, he's like, I mean, that's
Yeah.
true though. We talk about these guys. If you find your place, yourself in the NFL for 10 years, you're doing something right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think that we are, it's to that point, we've had this conversation so much now. I'm so excited to see how everything plays out this next month when it comes to the secondary and what it looks like week 1, because we've been now for months being like, what possibly is it going to look like? This person can do it. This person can do it. And I know we're going to see a ton of looks, but I know for somebody like this who is in year 10, it'd be probably a really cool feeling for him to lock down that across Tyson Campbell CB2 spot.
Right. And I mean, we've talked about the different options that they have. I feel like they're all good options.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we've only seen 3 days of training camp practices. I'm not here to say that the Jaguars have the best secondary in all of the NFL. I'm not saying that. But those guys look the part to me. I guess that's all we can evaluate to this point, because there's no pads until Tuesday and things like that. But Darian Jones looks like he should be a starter in the NFL, and that is really good competition.
There's a tiny moment of scare with Jarian today.
Yes. Yeah. Luckily, everybody's okay, other than maybe Tyson Campbell's going to deal with an ankle injury.
We didn't get to run through that injury update, but I will do it now. We don't actually have the fair and fair injury update just yet, but this is the Michael DeRocco, courtesy of Jaguars PR injury update. Cam Robinson returned to practice after briefly experiencing cramping. Tyson Campbell was limited to individual drills because of a ankle injury. Seth Williams, which we were watching that one, Lauren, closely because he was down for about 5 minutes, just had the wind knocked out of him on a one-on-one downfield ball in which he got knocked over. He did return to practice and was a part of team drills. And Jarian, yes, went down with an ankle injury, also on field too during the one-on-one drills with the ankle, but he also came back for team period.
Yeah, D-Rock, at first, it was because it was on the far side of the field where Seth went down, and he looks at me and he's like, what number was that? And I was like, I couldn't tell exactly, but I saw an 8. And he's like, are you sure it wasn't a 3? I was like, 100%. It was not Christian Kirk. There was an 8 on the jersey. Not that
yesterday,
you want
Christian
anyone to
Kirk
get
came up. He came up a little bit limp on the Dewey first intercept or second, either the first or the second intercept. First was him, because Evan was the second intended target. But yeah, he came up a little limp, and we couldn't tell if that was just frustration that the play was not completed, and that one of the players with the white jersey had actually caught the ball and not the player with the teal jersey. But he definitely gingerly walked off. And I was also on high alert. I'm like, oh no. Because we said it yesterday when we ranked the wide receivers in the AFC South, ladies. I understand that Nico Collins had more yards, has a higher ceiling per se athletically than Christian Kirk. I understand Stephon Diggs has been an all-pro before, ditto to DeAndre Hopkins. But you can't tell me that any of the 4 offenses in this division hinge on one player, or at least did last year, because I know this year that's the whole goal, is to not set up a structure in which you pull one card out of the deck and the entire thing collapses. There was one player, one wide receiver, who proved that without him, the operation could not operate at peak efficiency, and that was Christian Kirk.
Yeah. All right, one more cut here. This is a player who we've talked a ton about. That would be Eric Armstead. And Hayes caught up with Trayvon Walker. Here's Trayvon on Eric.
Eric, he's one of those guys. He's played from inside to in as well. So I like to call him a blueprint. He knows a lot about the game of football itself in general. So I feel like that can help everybody, not just from a technique standpoint of your personal self, but just as far as recognizing schemes, knowing what they do out of certain formations and things like that. He just brings that extra like I say, small little details. That's what I feel like he brings in a lot more as well.
I could listen to Trayvon read a dictionary. I love his accent.
That's how I was with Calais. I always loved Calais Campbell's accent so much. I mean, like voice. I guess it wasn't an accent, just his voice.
That was just how he talked.
Yeah. I think that we talk a ton about Mitch Morse and the importance of him on the offensive line, but I know obviously Eric Armstead, we're still waiting for him to be out there in full, but I don't think it should be understated of how important he is also to that defensive. We talked the trenches where we stared at last year and we're like, there's massive problems here, where there's massive problems when the only people getting sacks are Josh Allen and Trayvon Walker and no interior pass rush. And so what Eric Armstead brings with that interior pass rush, but also the versatility of how he just talked about, he can be everywhere on the defensive line. He obviously has the experience in big games and big moments and all over and different type of defensive fronts too. So it's just going to be so fun to also see him and how cohesive they can all get and how quickly, because it's going to look like a completely different defensive line, I think.
Quick hits are out, so I can say this. And if you know someone who is not listening right now to Helmets and Heels and you want to log on and listen to that on our social channels, feel free. Mason Smith is listed at 306 pounds, Lauren. He was lined up. I'm not allowed to say that. He was on the field. Josh Allen, Trayvon Walker, the three of them are standing in a row next to each other during positional warm-ups. I want you to envision those three in an actual game. Because as much as Eric Armstead right now is going to be that starter, that is our assessment of the situation and the expectation, given how much money he was paid and given his longevity in the National Football League. But I want you to think of 4 or 5 years from now.
Yeah.
I was blown away seeing Mason Smith in the team periods today because I do have lower expectations for him, for Jordan Jefferson, because you signed Eric Armstead, because you have Devon Hamilton coming back from injury. Those are your expected starters. Yeah. But those two guys, and Mason Smith in particular today, I mean, bull in a china shop.
Yeah.
And when you pair that with Trayvon Walker, heck, we could even throw Miles Cole, the 7th-round rookie, out there because the measurables there are also off the charts. And I just want you to, envision, folks. Envision these cyborgs, as Daniel Jeremiah called them, all lined up next to each other.
It's okay, Trent Baalke.
It's mind-blowing. And look, here's the thing. I credit to Trent, because I know he's criticized for how he drafts and what have you. But
Everyone's criticized for how they
you
draft.
can't teach these things. Yeah. You can't teach Trayvon Walker's size and speed. You can't teach Mason Smith being listed at 306. I think he actually is probably closer to 320. He plays like he's 200 pounds. Yeah. Because he's still, the explosiveness off the snap is incredible. And I
liked that draft pick, by the way.
I
know
so
a lot of
did
people
I.
didn't like it.
I did not. But so I hope I'm wrong, because I did not like it. And I just think I didn't like it where it was. It was too early, in my opinion. I think he was someone that they should have gotten a little later, but we've already discussed that. I hope I'm wrong. I hope it's someone that in a year or two we are talking about him being this fundamental piece. I think there's a lot of work to go to get him there. So I hope that with Ryan Nielsen and this new defensive staff that it is able to develop some of these guys, because when you're drafting someone that high, you are expecting them to be there. If it's not probably going to be a ton this year because of Eric Armstead and the other pieces they have, but I hope by next year we are seeing him be a fundamental piece.
Absolutely. And I think we will, once he's fully healthy, be able to see him, I think, in the rotation early on. I don't think this is going to be week 10. We still haven't seen Mason Smith.
Well, I think we'll see everybody, because that's what Ryan Nielsen does. There's going to be a lot of movement.
Right. Bingo. Exactly.
But I think some people also didn't like the draft pick because they thought, well, Mason Smith's not going to play for a long time.
Right, because they're like, what's the point of taking him if he's not going to play for X amount of years? Because that was what once upon a time Taven Bryan was selected with the idea of, well, we're going to say goodbye to Malik Jackson at some point. We're going to say goodbye to Calais Campbell at some point, and he will slot in. And, we saw how that went.
Yeah, people just picture your first 1-2 picks especially, but probably first 3 as being starters. And when they're not, it's a little disappointing.
All right, I realized we're so thick into football already that I didn't even ask you all your Feel Good Friday, so I'll do that on the other side. You are listening to Helmets and Heels on a Sunshine Turf Friday on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
This hour of Helmets and Heels is brought to you by First Coast Honda Dealers. Now, a 1010XL Summer Olympic Update. Brought to you by USAPark.net Airport Parking.
Westwood One Sports presents this special update of the 2024 Summer Games, sponsored by Grainger, with supplies and solutions for every industry. Grainger is the right product for you. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. It's the third time Paris is hosting. It's been a while. The last one exactly 100 years ago, and the previous to that was in 1900. The Parade of Nations in today's opening ceremonies will conclude with France just after the U.S., who's next to last because it's hosting the next Summer Games in L.A. The flag bearers today, as voted on by the U.S. athletes, LeBron James and Coco Gauff.
The fact that it's my peers and, Olympians and athletes and Team USA that, came together and, voted for me to do that, it means a lot more.
Coco's only 20. She's the youngest to hold the flag. For LeBron, this is his fourth Olympics, the first since 2012. He'll seek his third gold medal. With this Summer Games update, I'm John Stashauer, Westwood One Sports.
This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Grainger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
If there's one sale I'm always going to shop, it's Kohl's Friends and Family Sale. I just saved an extra 25% because I spent $75. But even if you spend less, you can still save with 20%. And Kohl's has everything you need for summer fun. I got a cute dress for myself, a casual polo for my husband, and a ninja creanie that we can't wait to use. Oh, and I earned Kohl's Cash. Kohl's. Your Friends and Family Sale never fails me. Select styles. Some exclusions apply. Offer ends July 28th. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Are you embarrassed by your ugly, cracked concrete driveway? Need to enhance your home's curb appeal? StoneCore on Phillips Highway is your one-stop shop for all your outdoor needs. Replacing with new stone pavers will transform your driveway into a stunning work of art. Say goodbye to unsightly concrete and hello to beautiful, durable pavers that last for years. Visit StoneCore today and let's beautify your home together. StoneCore.co. We do outdoors better.
By now, we all know the phrase, go big or go home, right? Well, my friends at Arlington Toyota are taking that phrase to heart with the Big One sales event. Yup, it's back and going on now at Arlington Toyota. Mia here, and during the Big One sales event, you're going to save so big, you'll be driving home a brand new Toyota in no time. And Arlington has over 400 new Toyotas available. Cars, trucks, SUVs, and family vans too. Guess you could say you're going big and going home in style. Plus, with every new purchase at Arlington, you get their lifetime warranty. That's unlimited time and miles. And Arlington's 60-day exchange program. That's 60 days to love your new purchase or exchange it. So if you're wondering if now's the time to buy, let me put it this way. This is a sale so big, it can only go by one name. The Big One sales event. So yeah, I say go big and save big at Arlington Toyota today. But don't wait, a sale this big won't last long. Stop by and shop today, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, and online at arlingtontoyota.com.
The hottest trend in casual dining has expanded in Jacksonville with its 5th location off 103rd. The Flame Broiler serves up protein-packed rice bowls. It's fast, healthy, and affordable. Order online at flamebroilerusa.com or visit any of our 5 locations. Flame Broiler, simply healthy.
Helmets and heels.
It's a Sunshine Turf Friday. Time now for a medical recap. A health and wellness tip from Jaguars head team physician Dr. Kevin Kaplan.
Rotator cuff tears are the most common overhead injuries I see. In order to avoid shoulder issues, make sure not to overload the front of the shoulder while also focusing on developing good scapular strength and maintaining flexibility in your lats. Proper hydration, nutrition, and supplementation are also crucial to joint and muscle health. Go Jag.
Denny Thompson here. Tackle burglars and protect your turf. Give yourself peace of mind catching everything around your home with Tyson Sound & Security's cutting-edge surveillance cameras. For safety and convenience, Tyson has you covered for all home cameras and security systems. I'm talking HD recording, night vision, and remote alerts, all from your phone or computer. Call Tyson Sound & Security right now at 904-762-1000. Tyson Sound & Security. Security and automation experts.
Facing a DUI charge or even a boating under the influence charge?
Well, I'm your man, DUI lawyer Malcolm Anthony at 285-4LAW. 285-4LAW. Once again, 285-4LAW.
The 2024 Summer Olympics in Paris feature incredible athletes and is the third time the Olympics will be held in Paris. If you're planning to attend, USAPark.net Airport Parking salutes your support of our American athletes. So no matter where you're going, whether you're traveling to the Olympics to support our athletes or just visiting Grandma, remember to park at USAPark.net.
Shop the Sherwin-Williams July Summer Sale and get 35% off paints and stains from July 26th through August 5th. With prices starting at $31.84, it's the perfect time to transform your space with color. Whether you're looking to revamp your bedroom, living room, or home office, we have you covered with bold hues, soothing neutrals, and everything in between. Shop the sale online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
PRP treatment is kind of the thing these days, and in many cases, it eliminates the need for surgery. This is Sheridan Tootin, and my experience with PRP from Southeast Orthopedic Specialist has been nothing short of great. I'm really feeling much better now. Ask your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist doctor about PRP treatment.
This is Dr. Kevin Murphy with Southeast Orthopedic Specialist, where athletes are treated like pros.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Every weekend is a Stone Cold Sports Weekend. Hey, Dan Hicken here. Watch for the Weekend with Dan on YouTube and Facebook, and I'll help you put together your sports weekend. Weekend with Dan brought to you by Stone Core. We do the outdoors better.
Have you tried golfing at the improved Cimarron Golf Club? If you haven't, I tell you what, you're missing out on the best deal in Jacksonville. Now, many of you have received a postcard in the mail, and of course, if you bring that with you, $45 plus tax to play. That includes a cart, lunch, and a beer at the brand new Stone Barrel Tap House. Now, go to the website, that is CimarronGolfClub.com, and sign up for the Wild One Loyalty Program. That's the Wild One Loyalty Program, and get all of these specials emailed to you from Cimarron.
Does the building you go to work in every day need a little love and attention? Jason Parker here with Performance Painting. Great companies take great care of the buildings their staff and customers walk into every day. If the building you're in doesn't match the vision you have for your company, we can help. Go to performance-painting.com. Our highly trained team makes the difference. Quality coatings applied with pride.
Performance Painting.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Helmets and Heels is switched on by
First Coast Lighting and Fans.
Upscale lighting, fans, and home decor on 1010XL.
I'll go very quickly. My Feel Good Friday, training camp. Ooh, training camp practices. Day 4 tomorrow. Pads come on Tuesday. I have to say, once you know exactly when the pads come on, you do tend to be like, all right, can we just get through these without the pads until the pads come on, please? Because that's, of course, the moment you hear that first hit with the pads on, oh, that's exciting.
I love it. Yes, I was going to say training camp. I'm going to go a little off key right now because it was a video I saw before I came on air, and now I can't stop thinking about it. But I saw these people who a new trend is making deviled egg flights. You know, so they have like beer flights and whatever. So all these people are making, so they make a bunch of deviled eggs. And so my Feel Good Friday is because I'm going to make these this weekend because it's all I can think about.
I'm making a deviled egg flight.
So they make deviled eggs just the normal way, but each one has a different topping. So they had like, one of them, speaking of, was like a Chick-fil-A one. So we'll maybe have some lunch coming up on that one, and maybe I'll also go. But they had, she chopped up like the chicken nuggets pretty much, and then she put the Zax sauce on there. I'd probably put buffalo because I'm a buffalo. I'm more of a spicy person. But so she had some that were that. Then she had BLT ones, and it was like the bacon, lettuce, tomato on top of one. And then she had like a tuna salad one, so it was like a little bit of a little pre-mixed tuna salad on top of one. And then the last one was like a peppered bacon, sweet, I don't know, it was like sweet Thai chili, something like that. so delicious, but that's literally all I can think about now. And so I'm like, I need to go make some like deviled egg flights for this weekend to munch on.
I love that. My mom recently made, instead of the normal deviled eggs, she made pesto deviled eggs. So they were green instead of yellow.
I like that.
Sounds delicious.
They were fantastic. Highly recommend.
Maybe
putting
that'll
that
make
in
it
a
to my flight.
Okay,
Yes.
because I know you guys are in the deviled egg business. I've recently, as you guys know, gotten more into hard-boiled eggs on salads, trying to be healthy, all that good stuff. I still struggle with trying to boil those damn eggs.
Okay, so Target sells a boiled egg maker. You
Okay.
literally take, it's a little circle.
Yeah.
It has room for, I want to say like 8 eggs, maybe
Okay.
more than that.
Okay.
You literally take the eggs, you put them in there, and then it comes with this little thing that basically like puts a hole in the top of each egg. Then all you do is
Interesting.
pour it. It's just a one little punch from it. It's a little like metal thing.
Okay.
Then you take the water and it tells you how much water to put. It's in the same thing. Then you pour it in, you put the lid on, and 12 minutes later they are hard boiled.
And that's it. So
Then
12
you just put them
minutes.
in.
That's
yeah,
my
That's
problem.
it. And
My-
you can do
yeah.
like
The
10
timing.
6 to 10 at a time, however many are in
And
there.
I will tell you, if you already have an air fryer, you can also air fry them.
What?
Yeah.
That
And you don't
blows
even
my
have to
mind.
poke a hole or anything. You put them in for like 11 to 12 minutes depending
No
depending
way.
how like runny you like. Yes.
I hope Kevin's
they're
listening to
perfect.
this. Oh my God, this is
Never
a
heard
game
that.
changer. We
I like my little egg maker thing.
that may have to be my Feel Good Friday. I'm just kidding. But no, you never say you don't learn something new every day, and never say you don't learn anything on Helmets and Heels, because man alive, that is a revelation, Taylor Doll.
What's your Feel Good Friday, Mia?
So I already told you, ladies. Obviously, we did start camp this week, and we were at SEC Media Days last week, and I had my nice 12-hour road trip the weekend prior to that. So it's kind of been a little chaotic in my neck of the woods, and so in celebration of finally clearing out everything from that lovely U-Haul that we hauled back from Maryland, going to get some Culver's for lunch tomorrow on the way home from training camp. And also, I was informed that I apparently have a special dinner awaiting me when I get home today as well. So
Nice.
What do you get at Culver's besides ice cream?
Cheese curds?
Butterburger, cheese curds. Usually I do the Butterburger cheese curds combo. That's just me. Yes, do like a good concrete, which is their ice cream, the frozen version. Their fish is actually pretty good too, Lauren. And the chicken tenders, if you toss them in buffalo sauce, also elite. You can't get a bad meal there. I'm not going to lie. And it's a drive-through. Wednesday was National Drive-Through Day. I missed National Drive-Through Day. I will be hitting that drive-through on Saturday. Very excited for that.
So it sounds like Culver's needs to become a sponsor of the program.
If you're listening, I know they're locally owned and operated.
Yeah.
This is your moment. I did live in the Midwest. I did live in the Midwest. I am an OG when it comes to Culver's. We actually were talking about this on our walk last night around the neighborhood. My grandma straight up said to me when they visited about a year and a half ago, she's like, "Oh my God, you guys have Culver's now? I guess I never have to go back to Iowa to visit then, because I was only going to go back because they have Culver's there."
I will say, so Dan Orlovsky tweeted earlier, and it was speaking of fast food and that type of food, but he tweeted, and it was a quote tweet, and he said, "I've never heard of 6 out of 10 of these. I've never had 6 of 10 of these, and I've never heard of 2." These
boy.
are the. These
I
are
need
the
to pull this up. Yeah.
He's never heard of 2 of these and has never had 6 of these.
Okay.
Arby's, Zaxby's, Popeyes, Taco Bell, KFC, Chick-fil-A, Hardee's, In-N-Out, Captain D's, and Del Taco. So I'm wondering what 6, because that's a lot.
Captain D's, he definitely hasn't heard of.
And Del Taco.
Del Taco.
And Del Taco, right.
Where
which
are
is
Del Tacos?
California.
So Orlovsky's never had a Del Taco?
I'm assuming.
I've never had Del Taco. I've had
And
Taco Bell.
because that's a West Coast thing.
Yeah, Del Taco. If you think Taco Bell going to send you to the toilet, Del Taco right up
But
there
never
too.
heard of 2 of them. I was like, I've at least heard of all of them.
Yeah, I don't know that
I didn't know Captain D's before I moved to Jacksonville.
Okay. I don't think I'd heard of Del Taco until the
Just now?
original
I had
tweet
heard
come
of
out.
Zaxby's, but I had never had Zaxby's until I moved to Florida.
Okay.
So
It's so wild to me. I'm
yeah.
like,
But I'm not a fast food person. The only time I eat fast food is if we're on a road trip. Not that there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
It's just I usually pack my own stuff.
Which also I'm going to sound like I'm dating myself, but so I graduated high school in 2011, and I go away to school, and 2 of my roommates were from Texas and Oklahoma, and they came home with me for spring break, and they found out that they had just opened a Chick-fil-A in the Freehold Raceway Mall where I'm from. And they were like, "We got to go." And I'm like, "Really?" Because I had never had Chick-fil-A until I was 19 years old, because we just didn't have them in New Jersey. And now they're everywhere there.
yeah, they're all over.
That they are. And if I'm going to eat fast food, obviously it's Chick-fil-A, which we have a
Do
giveaway.
we want to give away some food?
Yeah, well said.
Let's do it. Let's give away lunch for 2 to Chick-fil-A. So lunch on the ladies. Give us a call, 641-1010. Let's do caller number 1 today.
All right, caller number 1. And when we return, Taylor has a tangent. You are listening to Helmets and Heels on a Sunshine Turf Friday. Make sure you visit them at sunshineturf.info or give Caleb and his team team a call, 904-892-0580. They will just absolutely blow your mind with some of the projects that they have been able to do. You can find those on 1010XL's Instagram as well. One segment to go on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Helmets and Heels. This hour is brought to you by First Coast Honda Dealers.
You have heard about the 1010XL YouTube channel. Now check out our team-specific channels, 1010XL Jaguars, 1010XL Gators, and 1010XL Seminoles, bringing up specific, up-to-the-minute video coverage of your favorite local team. And find us on YouTube today.
Looking for a new vehicle? Take a look at Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville. Now's the time to save big this summer. Choose from more than 250 new and over 1,000 used and certified pre-owned vehicles on the lot, or shop anytime at JenkinsHyundaiofJacksonville.com. Hyundai has one of the top warranties in the business. Lifetime powertrain and a 5-year bumper-to-bumper warranty, plus 3 years free maintenance on a new vehicle. Give us the opportunity to earn your business today. Atlantic Boulevard, Jacksonville, or visit JenkinsHyundaiofJacksonville.com. Welcome to the family.
15,000 workers. I'm Brian Rose from Remedy Staffing. We survey 15,000 blue-collar workers each year to better understand what drives quality and dependability in our workforce. The survey shows when looking for a new job, the initial pay rate, job security, and safety while working are the most important factors for hourly workers. If you're an employer and would like to learn more about the voice of the blue-collar worker, please call us at 904-528-1933.
Bueller Air and Plumbing presents
Are You Cool?
Today's challenger, a paint color namer from Jacksonville, Florida. Meet Irving Stapler.
Hi, Howie.
So the next round is word association. I'll say a word and you give me the first word you think of. Engagement ring.
Jeweler.
Gas station.
Fueler.
Aaron Burr.
Dueler?
Air conditioning.
Wow. Jeez. It's a toughie.
Come on, Irv. The sponsor's going to kill me now.
Oh, Bueller.
That's right, Irv. If your AC is struggling through the summer heat, the first name you should think of for fast, friendly, 5-star service is Bueller Air and Plumbing. The name to know to make sure you are cool.
Have a beer, Irv.
Cooler.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Hey Jacksonville, Taylor Dahl here of Helmets and Heels. Are you looking for an easy way to feed your friends and family this summer? Let your local Chick-fil-A restaurant cater your next gathering. Choose from a variety of trays, including Chick-fil-A nugget trays, mac and cheese, and of course, gallons of Chick-fil-A tea and lemonade. Perfect for a get-together of any size. Place an order through the Chick-fil-A app online or by calling ahead and pick it up at your local Chick-fil-A restaurant, or get it delivered directly to your door. Enjoy more of the summer season when you're with your loved ones when you take cooking off your plate with Chick-fil-A. See restaurant for details.
Right now, you may be running a little late, or feeling stressed, or overwhelmed, and you may be going a bit over the speed limit. So to help you relax, exhale. Ease up on the gas. You'll get there when you get there. Take a moment to just chill. This little break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
Sunshine Turf Friday.
The humidity may be rising, but the prices are dropping at Beard's Diamonds.
It's Christmas in July. Everything store-wide is on sale up to an unbelievable 40% off.
Don't shop anywhere until you shop Beard's Diamonds.
At the St. John's Town Center.
The time to buy an emergency generator is before you need it, not when you're sitting in the dark. Storms happen in a hurry in Florida, so be prepared. Protect your family and property with American Electrical Contracting. Call them today, 737-7770.
1010XL is the home of Gator Nation and the Gator Bites podcast presented by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. I'm Hacker, and we keep you connected with the University of Florida all year long. Get Gator Bites where you find podcasts.
Life has its share of challenges, and when it puts you to the test, make sure you reach out to Rebound Rehabilitation to give you the quickest path back to full health and confidence. Rebound Rehab, specializing in helping patients overcome back pain and sciatica, arthritis, and fibromyalgia, just to name a few. Rebound Rehab, locations covering the entire First Coast, getting you back in control with a pain-free life. Sports injury, workplace injury, whatever it might be, you can rebound. Log on to reboundrehab.com for more info.
This is Hayes Carlyon for Skylife Elite. Have you ever thought about aircraft ownership as another potential revenue stream and as a tool for tax savings? Put your tax money to work for you while enjoying the benefits of private personal travel. Skylife Elite has over a decade of experience in business aviation and can guide you through the process with their expert staff. Call my friends over at Skylife Elite at 490-9332 or find them at flyskylife.com to get the rundown on everything owning an airplane can do for you.
There are 3 certainties in life: death, taxes, and if you stay in your home long enough, a new roof. Hicken here for our friends at Lockhart Roofing. Nobody better in Jacksonville. How do I know? They are a local certified Master Elite contractor, and that means they have a GAF Master Elite warranty. That's the best in the roofing industry. In this day and age, don't settle for cheaper discount roofers. Lockhart Roofing has been here for decades. They aren't going anywhere. Call my friends at Lockhart Roofing, 994-3851. That's 994-3851. Lockhart Roofing, Jacksonville's best for Jacksonville people.
The saying goes, the grass is greener on the other side. Well, that is actually true if your neighbor installed artificial turf. Lauren Brooks here from my friends at Sunshine Turf, a family-owned local company that will take your backyard dreams and turn them into a reality. Caleb can design anything from putting greens to pet runs, and if you have a pool, you'll definitely love maintenance-free turf around it. Visit sunshineturf.info to get a free quote today. Sunshine Turf. That's sunshineturf.info.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
This is Helmets and Heels.
Kept classy by First Coast Lighting and Fans. Upscale lighting, fans, and home decor.
On 1010XL.
That's been one of the most popular shirts, I feel like, the last few years, is the Sublime t-shirts. That's who sings the song.
yeah.
Santeria, Sublime t-shirts.
Oh, yeah.
I always want to be like, do you know who the band is, or do you just like the t-shirt?
It's like Sublime and Nirvana are the two.
Nirvana
that you
and
see.
Rolling Stones.
Rolling Stones, yeah.
Yeah. Mia O'Brien, Taylor Dahl, RJ Saunders, I'm Lauren Brooks. Right now, Taylor Dahl has a tangent. Enjoy Sublime.
Now, Taylor's Tangent, served up by Chick-fil-A on 1010XL.
All right, I'm going to talk about a topic today that we have talked a ton about. I want to preface this by saying I was one of the ones that was for and happy for Trevor's contract, so nobody take it that way. I also have been one of the ones that have been vocal about I think Trevor Lawrence is the franchise quarterback and is going to continue to get better, and that we have seen enough in the last few years to know that. And I'm confident in that. But I've also been vocal in there's issues, and those turnover issues to me have been a problem, and that's something that I think he is going to have to fix if he wants to continue to develop and continue to be somebody who wants to be in the talks of one of the top quarterbacks in the league. But I will say that I think that Trevor's turnovers also wouldn't be as hot of a topic if there were more touchdowns, which is why I more so think that things will change. Not saying that maybe the turnovers won't lessen, but I do think that because the level of scoring hasn't been there, they are more glaring. So I heard yesterday Mia and Mike talking when we were coming in, and the comparison of Josh Allen, and the word was kind of like, okay, well, he's had a ton of turnovers too. That's been kind of Josh Allen's thing. And to me, the difference is Josh Allen throws a lot more touchdowns than Trevor Lawrence has. And that's why it's hard to compare those two. So I'm just going to go over a few numbers. And this is why I think that once the scoring happens, which I think will, I truly think that this year with the additions of Gabe Davis and Brian Thomas Jr. and the offensive line that lets you run the ball and you can actually get in the end zone and not have to throw it and just hope someone catches it in the end zone, I do think that the touchdown numbers go up this season by Trevor Lawrence. But so when you look at Josh Allen's year 1 to 3, Josh Allen, let me actually start with Trevor. So Trevor Lawrence in his first 3 seasons has 69 touchdowns and 60 turnovers. Those 60 turnovers were interceptions and fumbles lost. He's fumbled more than that, actually. It's like in the 70s, but he's only lost the certain amount. So it's 60 turnovers total with 69 touchdowns. So Josh Allen in his first 3 seasons in the NFL, he had 46 turnovers. So 14 less turnovers than Trevor Lawrence did, but he also had 92 touchdowns in those first 3 years compared to 69 touchdowns with Trevor Lawrence. And then if you want to go to the next 3 years, if we're talking about these last 3 years, which I know that's what Mike Dempsey was more talking about. He's like, these last 3 years, he's almost had 60 turnovers, as in Josh Allen. Josh Allen has had 56 turnovers, so just 4 more in the last 3 seasons. So in his second...
Repeat that part, Taylor.
Yeah, 56 turnovers in his
Which
years
is 4,
5,
4
6.
more. Trevor has only 4 more than Josh Allen.
The difference is Trevor Lawrence, again, 69 touchdowns. Josh Allen has 128 touchdowns. He has double the amount of touchdowns that Trevor Lawrence has had in those 3 years. And then if people want to say drops, Trevor Lawrence, and drops, that number is honestly kind of hard to find because everywhere you go, people have a different drop number for receivers because it's kind of that eye test. But around 100 drops is what Trevor has had to deal with in the last 3 years. Josh Allen the Bills have had 105 drops in the last 3 years. So if you want to compare that and say, well, there's all of this, okay, they were dealing with some of the same things when it comes to those receivers too. So that my whole point of this is this year, which I think it will happen, there'll be more touchdowns, so those turnovers won't be as glaring. I also think that the turnovers in the red zone also make it more glaring, and that's what we were seeing a lot. And now that this red zone offense isn't going to be so predictable and things are going to have to be so forced in those moments, it is also going to help. So when you have somebody who maybe at the end of the season we're still looking at, even if we're still looking at 10, 11 interceptions and 10, 11 fumbles, if he has 35 touchdowns, it's just not going to be as glaring.
I appreciate this whole argument. Now my question is, Taylor Dahl, are you subscribing to Press Taylor's school of thought of it's just practice the last few days? They're not airing the ball downfield. It's day 3, and they're trying things out, making it more difficult for Trevor, forcing him to problem solve because that's what you do during practice. And it is not a reflection of structurally where this offense may not be sound, akin to where it was a year ago.
I think that they aren't structurally sound yet because I think there's a lot of new pieces. I think your center, who is your anchor on your offensive line, is new. You have two of your starting 3 wide receivers are new. You have, even if we're talking about Tank is just in his sophomore year, so he's still kind of going off of what happened last year too. Christian Kirk and Evan Ingram are the 2 main, when you're talking about weapons-wise, that are returning. Because I didn't even talk about Duvernay. I didn't even talk about some of these other guys. So I just think there's a lot of newness. So I don't think it's a fluke that they don't look completely in sync, but I don't think that's a concern for me yet.
Let me go to wide receivers because I've seen a lot of debate, and I'm sure you have too, Lauren, online about Brian Thomas Jr. from the fans who have had the opportunity to be at the Miller Electric Center. The notion of, well, Tyson Campbell had him locked up the past 2 days before Tyson was limited today during team periods. Yeah, you want that, quite frankly. He's supposed to be a top 10 corner in the National Football League. You paid him to be as much. People on the team believe he is. Part of it with Brian Thomas Jr., I think that we also need to remember, as much as he's being thrown right into the fire, he's one of the top 3 wide receivers, and they are treating him as such at practice, is that he wasn't asked to fully run an elaborate route tree when he was at LSU. And now the question is, the Jaguars are going to be developing him while also trying to showcase his skill set and where he excels, which I think even once he does expand that route tree, once he is able to really conquer the middle of the field, Lauren, he's still going to be at his best when you have him stretching the field and just running a go route. Like that is just quite simply where he's at his best. We haven't really had that opportunity yet in practice to see it, and I think a lot of it is, again, because they're presenting opportunities for challenges. So I just hope that come game time, those plays are being called.
Yeah, I think one of the things, I want to say it was Evan Ingram today, talked about how both Gabe Davis and Brian Thomas Jr. can be anywhere on the football field and how beneficial that is for the offense. You obviously want to put them in the places where they're the strongest. Obviously, it makes the most sense. And for both of them, it does seem vertical, end zone, red zone target type of guys, especially for Gabe Davis, and then the vertical deep threat kind of for Brian Thomas Jr. But if you develop him correctly, you have a guy who can literally play all over the field. But that's kind of to my point. I do think it's going to take a little bit of time. I'm not expecting this offense in 3 practices to look like they're about to win the Super Bowl.
Right.
It's just, to me, that's not going to happen when there's so many new factors.
Yeah, I think it's been surprising is the word I'll use, that we haven't seen bigger flashes from BTJ to this point. But it's only 3 practices. And we're not given the playbook going into these practices with what they're trying to get out of it. It doesn't mean that they're trying to wow the fans. Yes, the fans are there, and they certainly enjoy seeing Trevor make completed passes, right? Like, that's obvious, especially the really pretty deep passes. But they're trying to get something accomplished within their offense, not trying to impress media, not trying to impress fans and things like that.
They're not like, hey, Lauren's looking. Let's
right. Exactly. That's exactly right. But I do think certain quarterbacks are more turnover prone than other quarterbacks because they're willing to take chances. And that, to me, is Trevor Lawrence. There's not a throw that Trevor doesn't think he can make.
Yeah.
So throughout his career, I think he'll always have probably around 10, the double-digit interceptions. I'm okay with that because I think he is a guy that is going to put the ball in such tight windows.
Yeah, that's my whole point. I'm okay with that as long as you score more.
Right.
But your ratio can't be 60 turnovers to 63 touchdowns. That's just not going to work.
Right. If it's 120 to 60, though, you live with
looks
it.
a lot different.
And that's what Buffalo fans have done for the past 5 years.
They're like, oh, Josh, but it's okay because we'll score 2 touchdowns to every time you turn over the ball.
That's where the receivers are so important. That's why the Jags said Gabe Davis in Buffalo is coming to Jacksonville because we need a
Pitch
guy
Morse in Buffalo.
Well, that's why
Correct.
That's why Buffalo got Stephon Diggs too, because that was the same exact scenario. That first season, he still, there was like 40 something turnovers, whatever. What I have to go back and look at that number, but 92 touchdowns. So the ratio wasn't exactly what they wanted to see. There was still a ton of drops. They're like, hey, we could add a guy like Stephon Diggs and change this world. And what happened? His touchdowns went up by almost 40 in the next 3 years.
Before we cool it down, a couple news and notes from around the National Football League I want to hit. First, Lamar Jackson remains sidelined with an illness. He is not practicing for the Baltimore Ravens today from their official account. He continues to undergo further evaluation, receive care from our medical team. He was at practice yesterday.
So it's not COVID. We know that.
It's
at least
I'm not a doctor. I'm not a doctor. This is purely just me looking at his symptoms and what they've discussed his symptoms are. I mean, it's got to be mono, right? Or something like that. Because, I mean, if this is a stomach bug, this would have been gone. This has been going on for almost a week now that he's been fighting some. I mean, hopefully, God willing, it's nothing, more severe. But this is crazy to think. And I understand it's practice. I understand he's a 2-time MVP. Does he even really need to practice? As we saw last year, everybody needs to practice. I think Lamar would tell you that even when he has missed time over the better part of the last 4 years, you've seen the team struggle at large because he's not practicing. It's just a wild situation. And speaking of wild,
he does get sick a lot, so you wonder if he's got some sort of genetics.
And we also already had did you see both Michael Badgley for the kicker for the Lions out probably the season, if not
he is. They're putting him on season-ending or IR.
And then the Vikings already lost their cornerback, Mekhi Blackman, too. So it's that time of year where you just hold your breath because it's just so scary if you lose one of these guys during this time.
And Darian Kendrick for the Rams as well also suffered a season-ending injury.
That's the worst words.
Let's get to some good news. I don't know if it's good, but it's my favorite clip on the internet today. Jameis Winston.
That's not Leggett.
No, not. Oh, no, that is. We also need to talk about that before we cool down. Jameis Winston is now a member of the Cleveland Browns, in case you missed it. Mike Vrabel is also on staff with the Cleveland Browns, and they race each other at the start of every practice.
Who wins?
Who wins?
It is. It looks like it's a combination of the two. Like they wait for each other. Sometimes it's Vrabel, sometimes it's Jameis, but it's just so beautiful. I love it.
I would assume that Jameis should win.
Hopefully.
He's a lot younger.
But Vrabel's trust me, he's taking it very seriously. I actually have a demo reel from 2020 where I actually have Mike Vrabel. The clip is somewhere on the internet of I was doing a live shot for the news station during pregame of the Thursday Night Football game in 2019, and Mike Vrabel was running stadiums behind me, and he sprints behind me just by himself. So the man is known to run pregame. That's part of his routine. But the fact that he's running now with Jameis, it's great. I love it.
Your guy.
Yes.
Xavier.
So we always said Leggett, but he says it Leggett. Like when he says his name, if you can understand what he's saying. I sent it to RJ. We'll see if we can get it up. But it's just he has that deep South Carolina accent. And so he did a weather report at camp yesterday, and I sent it to Mia and Kevin. And Kevin, literally, he was cracking me up because Kevin was like, this should be like the final level for students who are trying to learn English. Like, if you can understand this, you've officially passed.
Well, better yet, we have a couple different friends who are like such Leggett fans, and so they like been sharing these tweets. Like JC Horn says he, quote, was hanging on for dear life, lined up against Xavier Leggett in Carolina. He is so strong, man. So at least there's some positive vibes coming out of Carolina Panthers practice, because Lord knows if Caleb Chason is running with your ones, yeah. Good luck.
You're not going to win the Super Bowl.
Good
we can
luck.
say that. All right, RJ, hit it for the cool down.
Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since '87.
I guess the opening ceremony of the Olympics is going on right now. Interesting. And
I thought it was tonight.
Yeah, I think they're going to air it in prime time tonight, but it's actually going on right now, and it's a boat parade. That's a lot of fun. Excited to lock in, watch a little bit of Olympics this weekend after training camp practice tomorrow. But I would say my biggest takeaway is Mason Smith is a full-grown man. I was going to say something about the Jaguars offense, but I'm sorry. That was a conversation I had with several of our media cohorts on the sideline. This man is listed as 306 pounds. I do think he will have an impact in some form or fashion, which is what the Jags need. Just something from him in year one. He doesn't have to be world-class. He doesn't have to be an all-pro. He doesn't have to be Chris Jones, but just something. Get him off the ground running right now. And from what I saw today, and I know the pads aren't on yet, I expect that to be the case. By the way, the Jaguars just posted their rookie class photos. You need to go to their social channels and look, because what a dynamic. Like Cam Little with his little dirt stash, and it's just the outfit choices are elite. It's great. It's great.
I love it. I will say that I'm going to go back and talk about the defensive line and how honestly excited I am to see this defensive line this season with the addition of Eric Armstead and a healthy Devon Hamilton. I just think that all of these pieces, and health obviously helps too. It's a big part of it. But I've said it before, I've said it earlier in the season, but the more we get into camp, the more I see kind of what is happening around, and the depth pieces make, feel like they're going in a positive trajectory too. I do think that this defensive line is going to be something we're talking about being one of the top units in the NFL by the end of the season.
That would be spectacular if that's the case. I'm going to say that my biggest takeaway is that the offense got back on track today, since you guys went defense, and Trevor Lawrence, everybody can breathe a sigh of relief. He does still look really good as the quarterback of your Jacksonville Jaguars. All right, that's a wrap for us on this Sunshine Turf Friday. These heels are made for talking. We will talk to you on Monday, but of course we will be at practice tomorrow. For Mia O'Brien, for Taylor Dahl, for RJ Saunders, I'm Lauren Brooks. Don't go anywhere. XL Primetime is next.
All over you.